So we're here to talk about growing as technical leaders. Everybody in this room is here because we're all trying to further our careers. We're all trying to make sure that we are doing the best that we can as we show up every day. I know that the conference organizers are really focused on making sure that when we all go back to our jobs tomorrow, we're bringing all of our best stuff with us to start a new day. And so that's why I kind of want to talk with you about mentorship and sponsorship. So we are all in this room. So we're all in this room because we want to grow and learn. Velocity has given me a ton of inspiration over the years, both via the hallway track and the actual scheduled talks. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without getting to know so many folks that come to this conference. I can attest to the fact that in order to grow one's technical leadership skills, it's critical to lean on one's network of support. You are not going to get far if you try to do all this solo. We often find mentors to help us grow and learn, right? People who can help give us helpful advice. I've learned so much from the folks who share this stage, especially John Allspaw. As you can see, this is a photo from 2013. He was referenced just a minute ago. So I've had the honor of leaning on this guy as a mentor for years. He's helped me through so much. He's given me critical advice through many of his biggest career moments. Yes, he sends me a lot of PDFs as advice too. But this is one guy who I go to when I'm faced with a technical leadership challenge that I've never seen before. He helps me learn a lot by sharing his perspective and experience with me. And he knows me pretty well too. So Christy Tillman also taught me about how mentors, in addition to giving you advice, can give you visible proximity and tangential relationships to a broader network and to more opportunities. For sure, having a mentor in someone like John has given me access to a lot more people who I can ask questions to, and a lot more people with a different kind of experience and advice. But I'm here to tell you about another way that folks can help you get to the next level: sponsorship. Not the money bags kind of sponsorship. So sponsors help us find new opportunities and improve the visibility of our work. Sponsors feel on the hook for helping us level up our game. They're not just there to give coaching and advice, but rather to see growth opportunities and put our name in the ring. This is Courtney Nash. I met her at Velocity conference in 2013 at a lunch table. I learned that she worked at O'Reilly, and I was like, oh, hey, I have this book idea. I want to write a book on web performance, but write it geared towards web designers because there was really nothing written with them in mind for page speed. So Courtney did give me advice, but more importantly, she put my name in the ring. She sold O'Reilly on the book idea and gave me my first big shot at writing a real print book. Honestly, all of her advice and mentorship and support has been invaluable for the years, but frankly, Courtney believed in me, and she advocated for me, and she cleared the way so I could really grow as a technical leader. Economist and professor Erminia Ibarra says, in mentorship, the connection to actually getting promoted and actually getting developmental assignments gets kind of diluted. Sponsoring has to do with fighting for someone to get a promotion and mentioning their name in an appointments meeting and making sure that the person you're sponsoring gets that next assignment and gets visible and developmental assignments. So while mentorship is really handy when it comes to thinking through problems or getting advice on how someone else has tackled an issue before, sponsorship is more directly correlated to career trajectory. As Kate Houston says, mentors give perspective, sponsors give opportunity. This is because to sponsor someone is to feel on the hook to help get someone promoted. It is raising up their name of someone to help them get more opportunities to do visible, valuable work. It can also include giving advice and mentorship, but that's not why it's the most effective. We don't all have the network or opportunity that John or Courtney have. As Kate says in her excellent blog post on the subject, sponsorship can be super small too. Giving someone a book, giving them access to your network, making an intro for them, getting them a job. It is really likely that you've had a sponsor already in your career, and you've probably been a sponsor to someone too, even if you didn't realize it. Anytime you suggest that someone work on a cool project, or mention their name as someone who's doing really good work on a topic, or tell someone's boss that they're doing a really great job, that's sponsorship, and it is incredibly effective too, way more than mentorship. The Center for Talent Innovation measured the career benefits of sponsorship for men and for women. Apologies, the study didn't include data about non-binary people. This study found that without a sponsor behind them, 43% of men and 36% of women will ask their manager for a stretch assignment. However, with sponsor support, the numbers rise, respectively, to 56% and 44%. This is huge. Imagine how many more opportunities these folks will have just by asking for more challenging and impactful work. Having a sponsor has tangible monetary impacts as well. The majority of unsponsored men and women resist confronting their boss about a raise. But with a sponsor in their corner, nearly half of men and 38% of women summon that courage to negotiate. Again, imagine the impact on your life that just the act of having a sponsor can have in your own confidence in negotiating for more compensation. This study found in total that a sponsor confers a statistical career benefit of anything from 22 to 30%, depending upon what's requested, an assignment or a pay raise, and who's asking, men or women. This is enormous. I'm surprised that more people out in the world aren't yet talking about finding sponsors for themselves. As humans, we naturally think through who can give us that helpful advice that we're looking for. It's time for us to start thinking about who can give us those opportunities that we're looking for. So how do you go about finding a sponsor? How hard is it to find someone who's willing to go out on a limb for you to help you achieve that career growth? First, obviously, do great and impactful work. Make it easy for someone to vouch for you. Do work that's visible, that takes the load off of other people higher up, that saves people time or money or brain power. Do something that levels up the game of those around you. Then find someone who knows your work. Find someone who has seen what are you responsible for. Find someone who's seen you deliver on projects. Find someone who has seen your technical or leadership aptitude. I know what you're probably thinking, does my manager qualify as a sponsor? Yeah, definitely. Like, often your manager is the most obvious sponsor for you, but I encourage you to think beyond them to your broader network too. Who else has seen the good work that you do? Who else is qualified to talk about what you've been up to and how helpful you've been to others? Could they be a sponsor for you too? Grab them for coffee sometime. I find that it's helpful to articulate the difference between mentorship and sponsorship when you meet to make this request, to help them see how you are asking for their help. When you chat, tell your sponsor what skills you want to grow in or specialize in. Make it super clear and succinct. Maybe you want to find more opportunities to mentor others, or lead a working group, or get practice public speaking. Don't just walk in there and just ask them to put your name in for things. Get specific and make sure you can back up that request with action. Give them the opportunity to lift up your name, and also give them some supporting evidence that you're going to do some great work. Throughout the relationship, keep your sponsor updated on your work and your progress. Let them know all the ways that your work has been helping others, or delivering on KPIs, or helping your team do even more things. As you learn or get more experience, fill them in. Your goals might change, or the kind of work that you're doing may change. But more importantly, your sponsor should have up-to-date information on the good work that you're doing. Make it super easy for them to tell others about you. And this should be obvious, but make sure your work continues to level up those around you and be the kind of work others want to vouch for. No one wants to sponsor someone who's being a jerk or being selfish or, frankly, not making that sponsor look good. In Camille Fournier's excellent book, The Manager's Path, there's a section called You Are Responsible for Yourself. She's writing about managers, but this rings true for any sponsor relationship. She says, knowing yourself is step one. Step two is going after what you want. Bring agendas to your one-on-ones when you have things you need to talk about. When you want to work on projects, ask. Advocate for yourself. As Camille writes, you will not get everything that you ask for, and asking is not usually a fun or comfortable experience. However, it's the fastest way forward. So let's look at this from a slightly different angle. As you grow in technical leadership, you will have plenty of opportunities to be a sponsor for someone else. That means you'll have opportunities to lift up other people's names for promotions or projects or speaking gigs or posting on the company blog. As you think about who you might lift up for these opportunities, I want to especially call out that members of underrepresented groups in tech, like people of color or women and non-binary people, are over-mentored but under-sponsored. This means that marginalized folks get lots of advice, even unsolicited advice. They get a ton of people offering to take them out to coffee, or teach them something new, or to be a mentor. But it is much more rare to have people offer help that looks more like sponsorship. Why is this? It's not because people are intentionally ignoring underrepresented groups, but because of how our brains and social networks work. The people we name are naturally the people that we're closest to. And more often than not, those are also the people who look like us. Think about whose work you talk about most often. How diverse is that list of names? Candidly, until I started learning about this stuff, most of the people who I sponsored were white women. Since then, I've worked really hard at finding people to sponsor who are people of color and non-binary people. It takes really hard work and intention to combat these instincts. Having a sponsor then provides enormous career benefits for members of underrepresented groups. For example, with a sponsor, women in science, engineering, and technology fields are 70% more likely to have their ideas endorsed, 119% more likely to see them developed, and 200% more likely to see them implemented. Why are these statistics so dramatic? Why does sponsorship have such an outside career impact beyond what mentorship can do? I can cite a ton of studies that confirm that we assess the talent and skill level of underrepresented minorities differently. For example, multiple studies have shown that when you remove gender or race data from people interviewing for a job but do not change the quality of applicants, white women and black candidates are all of a sudden deemed exactly the same as qualified as white men. Marginalized groups already have to work extremely hard and, frankly, be extremely good at what they do to combat the systemic privilege and unconscious bias at play in our work environments. Because of these things, members of underrepresented groups in tech are consistently underpromoted and undercompensated for this work, even though it's measurably exceptional work. What members of underrepresented groups in tech need is opportunity and visibility rather than pure advice. So what are some tactics you can employ today to be a sponsor for those who don't look like you? Take a look at the daily communications you participate in, your work chat logs, the conversations you have with your manager and other managers, the process for figuring out who should fix a bug or work on a new project, the process for making your work visible, like an architecture review, a code review, a launch calendar, etc. You'll be surprised how many moments there are throughout an average day to sponsor someone. It can be as simple as someone asking, hey, the dashboards are slow today on Slack. Is there someone who knows how to fix that? And then a potential sponsor could say, oh, Max fixed our dashboards before. Maybe ask them. And maybe another sponsor could say, like, oh, Sarah's also been doing a lot of performance work recently. Ask her too. Raise up their names. Vouch for them and their work and how they might be a good fit for a leadership opportunity like writing that blog post or giving a talk at the company all hands or getting a promotion. Make their good work visible to those who aren't familiar. If you're not familiar with your sponsee's work or skill set, get familiar. Stay up to date on what they're working on, what kinds of problems they're good at solving, and what they're excited to learn. Keep your eyes peeled for opportunities to raise their name and vouch for their work. As John Allspaw says in that excellent post about being a senior engineer, as you grow in technical leadership, it's also on you to lift up the skills and expertise of those around you. I'd like to take this one step further, that mature engineers should be lifting up the names of those around them for opportunities that they see ahead, of shouting from the rooftops about the really incredible work that they see around them. Future technical leaders are all around us. I'm excited to see the people in this room go out there and help our industry move forward in this way. Thank you so much.